What is up guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Diego, and for those of you who are new around here, I'm an Imperial College graduate who's looking to get into medicine. On this channel I basically share videos relating to this whole journey among other things. If you're new around here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and if you like this video, leave a like, and if you've got something to say about it, leave a comment down below. Alright, so today in this video I'm going to be talking about my journey into medical school so far. Because I'm still not in medical school yet, so it's definitely a journey which is still in progress, but I'm going to be sharing it, and perhaps it'll be part one to a series of videos relating to this journey. So let's get into it. Right, so how did this journey begin? So this journey began actually, it wasn't necessarily like, for example, for some people it's that, when they're young and, they want to be a doctor and they sort of consistently working towards that. I understood the value of being a doctor. I understood sort of the appeal about it when I was younger, but my heart wasn't on it, and I wasn't really looking to get into medicine at all really. I knew I liked the sciences, which is why I actually ended up doing biological sciences at university, and that was pretty much how I got into science, but it wasn't really because I wanted to do medicine. The moment where I actually realized I wanted to do medicine was probably once I graduated. I realized that I didn't really want to do a lab-based job for the rest of my sort of life, or at least the beginning or the large proportion of my career. And I had done some business work, and I also understood that business wasn't really something that was interested me that much. Like, I like the whole business setting and making connections and obviously the financial income that comes with it, but I felt like something was missing. And it was sort of on these journeys back home from work where I started to realize that there's something there, that something is missing, and I need to do something that makes me feel fulfilled, that makes me feel like I'm striving for something, that makes me feel like I'm working consistently to something, that it's something meaningful. And I wasn't getting that from the things that I had considered up until that point. And then it just sort of came up on me, and I remember saying, well, why don't I do medicine? And for me, at least from an academic perspective, that sort of seemed so far-fetched, because I knew my sort of academic background. When I was in A-levels, I failed them twice. My entry into university was non-traditional, so I did an access course, which isn't for school leavers. I graduated with a 2-2, so it wasn't still, it wasn't like that sort of example, or that clear example of, the typical medical applicant. However, this sort of desire and this interest started to grow, and at that point I had actually begun my master's degree, which was in health policy at Imperial, and I was being exposed to all of this sort of knowledge around the clinical setting, the policy making setting, and how it affects the NHS. I had classmates who were doctors, who were nurses, who were physician associates, who were managers, and I was just starting to get more immersed into the NHS system, and I realized I do want to work in healthcare, and it's not in a lab-based role. It's not in finance. It's something where it's hands-on, and it's something where I feel like I'm making a real impact. Now, of course, for other people can say, well, nursing, physician associate studies, there's other careers in healthcare that sort of provide that aspect of healthcare, that human contact and caring for a patient. But for me, I knew that medicine sort of started to fit the bill of what I wanted for, at least at that point in my life. I started to research more into the career. I'd known a little bit when I was younger at school and speaking to some friends, but not enough to really say I was serious about it or really understand the exams you need to sit to be considered to apply, like the UCAT, the GAMSAT, the BMAT, the MCAT for you US colleagues. So yeah, I just didn't really understand it that much, and I managed to set up some work experience through my MSc. I managed to speak with all of these doctors and just read and read and read more about it, and I realized that this is definitely something that I want. And from then on, I started to align basically all of my energy. I started to put it in to this goal. And obviously that entailed, getting the work experience, dedicating myself every night after work, studying towards these admissions exams like the GAMSAT, like the UCAT, which were quite long for me and quite tedious, and I found them really quite difficult. Now this whole journey really began towards the end of September 2017. So between November 2017 up until now, which were November 2020, it's still a goal that I've been working towards because I had to finish my MSc first, which took me up until 2019, and up until now, which is November 2020, where now I'm able to apply to the cycle. I sat the GAMSAT twice, 2 different cycles, and even though I improved in my second sitting, it still wasn't enough. I sat the UCAT, which thankfully I managed to score well enough in my third sitting, where now I can actually put an application forward. But it's definitely been a challenging road, and it's been quite a long one. Like I said, it's been nearly 2.5 years from the decision, that conscious decision of me actually wanting to become a doctor. Now I could sort of bring this back and say, well, it was started back when I was in A-levels and I chose biology, chemistry and physics. But that wouldn't be completely genuine, because at that point I didn't really understand that or really want medicine. It was just that I wanted to get into university and study the sciences. Funnily enough, actually, towards the end of my degree in my third year, I realized that I had no experience other than lab experience. And I actually volunteered to go abroad to Costa Rica and do some healthcare assistant volunteering. And at that point, I had no idea I wanted to do medicine. But funnily enough, it proved to be valuable because I've actually used it as part of my work experience. So for me, it's been sort of a weird journey, non-traditional in many aspects, and for me that whole understanding of wanting to do medicine wasn't the typical one. It wasn't one where I was young and this was something I've been nurturing. It's been something more of a decision of coming to grips with the professional world, seeing these jobs that were out there and seeing how they matched with my interest, and just really understanding that that wasn't what I wanted. I knew I wanted to be in science, I knew I wanted to be in the medical field, but I just wasn't sure how. And once I started to learn that medicine was something that I was interested in, it's really been a case of just nurturing that dream consistently, because it can be quite hard actually to do that over a consistent period of time. An extended period of time when you're working and you've got all of these other things, it can be quite easy to become distracted and to perhaps be taken along another road because of better offers for jobs. I've turned down jobs, I've turned down career progression because of this dream. But in the long term, I understand the value that this will bring, not necessarily from a financial aspect, but more of a personal fulfillment aspect, where I know I just feel happy with myself that this is something that I want. And so this is something that I had to nurture for about 2.5 years, 3 years nearly, through my MSc. I will say that even though at the beginning of my MSc I didn't want to do medicine, once I started to actually know that I wanted to do it, I was very fortunate that I had picked this specific MSc, because I feel like it equipped me, and it's given me a different understanding of the NHS and sort of the challenges that are faced in healthcare from a policy making perspective, which is good, and it's very fortunate for me because it sort of fell into place. Once I graduated, all of my effort has been literally trying to get into medical school, and that's been 2 cycles now. So this is my second cycle, and I'm hoping to get lucky, and that will probably be part 2 of this video depending on how it goes. So in summary, it's been a great journey, it's been a challenging journey, it's been a journey of sort of self-discovery, really understanding what I want to do in the future, where my passion is, where my interests are, and so it's been great really. I'm excited to see what the future holds. And that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you very much for tuning into this video. If you've got any questions or anything that you'd like to ask, perhaps if you've got some comments on sort of my journey or some of the things that I've experienced so far, or some tips, or perhaps you've got some suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Give a like, subscribe, and it's been a pleasure talking to you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, bye bye.